Hello and a very good morning to everyone here today. We'll be discussing about a recent arising news of teens driving and how it is causing more harm than good to young generations. It has caused the lives of young teens in their way of thinking and worse life decisions. First off, we would like to introduce our three panels we have today with us. Now I'll pass over to our panelists, starting with panelist one.
Assalamualaikum and hi everyone. My name is Normazidah binti ZULKERNINE. I will be the first panelist for this forum discussion.
Assalamualaikum and hello everyone. My name is NOOR binti Muhammad Noor and I am panelist 2 for this forum.
Hi, Assalamualaikum. My name is FARAH and I am the third panelist for this forum discussion.
Alright, thank you for the introductions, everyone. Now we shall start the discussion of our topic today. So I will pass to our first panelist, which is Normazidah, and her thoughts on what are the general factors making teens driving a big issue among teens.
Okay, thank you, HANIS. So basically, the main factor of why teenagers always involved in road accident, I would say it is because of speeding. As we all know, teens are more likely than old drivers to speed and to allow shorter distance from the front of the vehicle to the front of the next. These risky driving behaviors appear to be worse when a male teenage passenger is present. Based on statistics that I found, 35% of male drivers and 80% of female drivers from age between 15 to 20 years old who were involved in fatal crashes were speeding at the time of crash back in 2020. Besides, we do know that speeding increases the distance needed to be able to stop the car while reducing reaction of time to avoid a potential collision. In fact, among serious crashes where teen drivers' error was causes 21% occur from going too fast for the road condition. An article has written by Jamie on 23rd October at World Buzz of News has stated that the accident was caused by 40-year-old female driver who was driving a car belonging to her mother friends. Driving during heavy rain, the underage driver reportedly lost control of the vehicle and crashed into a motorcycle. On the other hand, I will also say that some of teenagers get distracted during driving. Basically, distraction negatively affects driving performance for all drivers but can be especially dangerous for young and inexperienced drivers. Based on my observation, mobile phone usage, reaching for objects, alcohol and drug intoxication are the common causes of driving distraction among young drivers. Malaysian Institute of Road Safety Research, MIROS, Chairman Dr. Wong Shao-Vun said distracted driving is a significant road safety concern because it diverts the driver's attention from the road and increases the risk of accidents. Activities that takes driver focus away from driving, even a momentary glance away from the road, can have a serious consequences. This article was written by Ku Gek San and T. Atira Yusof at the Star News. So my last point that I'm going to share with you today is drunk during driving. Drinking any amount of alcohol before driving can increase crash risk among teen drivers. Teen drivers have a much higher risk of being involved in a crash than older drivers at the same blood alcohol concentration, which is BAC, even at BAC levels below the legal limit for adults. Even though it's illegal to drink alcohol or drive after drinking any alcohol for people who are under 21 years old, 2020 data revealed that 29% of drivers aged 15 to 20 who were killed in motor vehicle crashes had been drinking. So I think that's all my point that I will share for you today.
I see, panelist one. Mm, I think I agree most that the conditions are important to take into consideration for drivers, even for experienced driver, especially the weather. Now, I would like to ask you, what exactly will the major factor affect the citizens long term?
Okay, thank you, Hanis, for that question. So, as I explained to you just now, all of the factors, I think the major factor that will mostly affect citizen long term is speeding. Why would I say that? Because we all want teen drivers to be safe on the road for themselves, their passengers, and the people who sharing the road with them. Therefore, we need them to understand that adding speeding is very, very deadly dangerous. And we also want them to understand distraction will take their focus away from the road. That's all for me.
All right,
All right,
thank you,
thank you,
panelist
panelist
one. That
one.
was very good. Now let's move on to panel two. Based on panel one, this factor are a very serious problem for the society and is on aftermaths too. So, what do you think are the effects that is making youngsters to result in making the decisions to do teens driving in recent years?
Okay, thank you for the moderator. I will dive into a critical topic, which is the effects of teenage driver. First, I believe the effect had caused higher accident rate among teenagers in Malaysia. In my community, the lacks of experience among teenagers drivers seems to be contributing to the higher accidents rate. I believe we should advocate for comprehensive driver's education program that go beyond the basics. Practical, real-world training and simulated scenarios could better prepare teenagers for the challenges that they will face on the road. This is proven through an article by Gerard Lee that states 4,769 lives lost each year during the period, with youth making up an average of 7,077 cases. This statistic shows that youth are exposed to higher risk while on the road, and it is a challenge for enforcers to curb these trends. Okay, next, the effects also can impact on society. Underage drivers will endanger public safety through their action on the road. Lacks of experience in driving will cause underage drivers to drive irresponsibility and can take the life of people at any time. One of article by an ST leader that state it is a whole other level carelessness for parents to let their underage children to drive whatever potentially huge, heavy and fast killing machines. Lastly, the effects of teenage drivers can also cause the existence of reckless drivers on the road. Teenage Teenagers who drive underage will cause the existence of irresponsible drivers on the road. They will they will drive dangerously, such as breaking the red light, entering an intersection without giving a signal, cutting cars and others. An ST leader state in their article that I'm sorry, an ST leader state in the article that one also have to keep an eye out of those who persist in driving under the influence of drug, alcohol, or medication that causes drowsiness, those phoning or texting, and those driving against the flow of traffic. This show that underage drivers will cause the existence of reckless drivers on the road. So I believe teenage drivers can cause many effects which can endanger their own life and also the life of those around them. That's all from me. Thank you.
That is a very good insight, panelist too. I think that the government should implement special programs for teens in order to create as much more professional driving environment for the sake of everyone on the road. However, since based on the effect you mentioned, I wonder which effect is causing the most problem for these teens.
I think, in my opinion, the most major effect that is affecting youngsters to do things driving is the effect that can impact on society. Because as we know, driving dangerously is a bad action that everyone that irresponsible can do on the road. Thus, such action can endanger people's life and the drivers. Thank you.
Thank you, panelist three. Now, moving on to our third panelist, Farah. So, from what you have heard and learned from this discussion, what do you think is the preventions that should be taken in order to decrease the cases of teen driving?
All right, thank you, Hanis, for our as our moderator today. So I think one of the thing that we can do or reduce teenage drivers is that parents have the biggest role to prevent or reduce teenage drivers. Why I say that? It is because I would say that parents have the closest connection with their children. And as a parent, we should be responsible for our children's behavior. So, as a parent, you should not let your teenage drive your car without having a driving license. Uh, as the teenager doesn't have any experiences on the road or doesn't attend or learn proper ways to drive, and also they don't really know the road law, hence it will jeopardize other road users. Okay, so one of the evidence that I can include regarding this topic that according to JPJ Deputy Director General by Adli Fadli Rami, he said that most of the offenders involved family members, especially parents who allow their children, including minors, to drive without license for various excuses. Okay, other than parents, we could say that the government should take their rules seriously. I would say like GJ or police need to do road block frequently to check driver's license. As a result, the teenagers who driving illegally will get scared getting caught by the police and will not dare to drive anymore. So, according to Dato Sri Dr. Kasyong as the Transport Minister, he said that this action is to take care of the safety of other road users as well. So I do agree that this action definitely can reduce teenage drivers by a lot. And lastly, for my point is that we should treat the underage or the teenagers just like adults for their consequences. So, like if they get caught driving legally, the government should take actions against their illegal driving behavior and not just take it lightly. So we should look at how these teenage drivers, like how they can be dangerous to other road users. We can see that many cases on the internet, on the news, that teenage drivers casually get away after killed other road users, and it's not very fair for the victim's family. They usually get away because they are underage. It's not mature enough to get voted for go to the jail or go to the answer question and all that. So according to Dr. Wikasong, say that there is no oppression here. We will take action against whoever is at fault, and there is no taking sides in our policies. And I do hope that they mean by that and not treat the teenage with their this kind of behavior. That's all for me. Thank you.
Thank you, Panelist. I think that that is a very good statement because in recent years, a lot of the accidents that has been happening in Malaysia has always been ignored by the government and also the police due to their age, and usually the punishment is very low because they are underage teen drivers. So uh, those were great suggestions, Pantry. However, this does raise me a big question for you. Do you think that this way of prevention will make a big impact on the generation's mindsets?
Well, for me, I do think that this ways of prevention will make a big impact on the generation mindsets. And what I mean by that is by treating underage just like adults for the consequences, as they will think before doing illegal things and the impact for their behavior. Hence, they will stop doing illegal things and actually think for the others as well for their behavior. Thank you.
Those were great words that surely should be taken into consideration for the future of our generations. I hope that this will be conveyed in a more better way in the future as well. So Malaysia right now is indeed having a really bad way in reinforcing the rules. They need to reinforce the rules that has been blinded upon and given upon our country. Thank you again to all the panelists for your output on the matter that surely need to be addressed for the greater good of our future generations. For our panel one, I agree that we must prevent our youngsters from being affected by the internet to do such unethical actions for the sake of their livelihoods. As for panel two, it is true that teens shall need to get their license before being able to handle a vehicle themselves. Lastly, it is true that panel three, that we have to make sure parents take full actions and control over their children who is trying to do teen driving. Thank you everyone for participating in this insightful discussion. I hope that this discussion has given everyone a good knowledge on the matter of teen drivings.